valuable resource for us. One Stop's been terrific to work with, and he takes great pride in his work.
We've gotten bigger as we've expanded through the western United States, and the One Stop has supplied us with entry-level employees with skill sets that we could not find out in the open market without interviewing for weeks.
Our business, Help at Home Senior Care, provides non-medical in-home care for the elderly. The One Stop Career Center has helped us recruit qualified caregivers to help them in their home. We encourage other companies to take advantage of the One Stop Career Center. It's really helped our business.
Hello and welcome to Cafe Community. We're so glad you could join us. I'm your host, Cheryl Noble. Our program looks at people who make a difference in our community, as well as our variety of resources to help us take care of one another and survive as a community. Our resources can offer a lot of valuable services, and it can offer a lot of how-to information. So tonight, a little bit later, we've got some great how-to information from the Garden Goddesses on how to reuse and recycle your garden. And in just a moment, my first guest is going to tell us about a service that can help our local businesses, how to survive, and even how to start one. So we've got some fun, a lot of good how-to information. It's a perfect show. So let's get started. My first guest is a business consultant with the Small Business Development Center. A warm welcome to the program to Doug Freeman. Hi, Doug.
Hi, good evening. Pleasure being here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I feel like I've made a huge discovery in finding out about the Small Business Development Center. And you've been around for a long time. Tell us about the services.
It's a hidden gem that a lot of people have not heard about.
Indeed.
The Small Business Development Centers were founded over 30 years ago by the Small Department of Government, the Small Business Administration. When they discovered a need that small businesses had no place to go to find out how to start a business, when they're in trouble, what to do, all those different aspects that business owners run into and they don't know where to turn. Right.
Yeah, or how to turn their business around, how to keep it going to survive and not lose it.
Absolutely. In the last 2 years with the recession, we've been spending a lot of time helping businesses just try to survive. Yeah. So many businesses in our community and throughout the United States have lost anywhere from 20 to 50% of their business. And so we have been trying to help them reposition their business, get their finances in balance so that they can survive and come out of it as a stronger entity.
And you've been around 30 years. This is, it's a long time. And to offer so much, I mentioned to you, my first impression when I looked at the website was the mission statement, which was quite simply, our mission is your success. And I thought, I can remember that. It wasn't long, drawn out. It just made the point.
Yeah.
And
we're here nobody goes into business to fail.
Right.
And so we're here to give them all the encouragement, all the tools necessary for them to succeed.
Right. Whatever you said, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
And one of those services is the one-on-one consulting, and you go to their business if they need.
That's one of the neat things about this service is we sit down with the client one-on-one and listen to their problems and then formulate a solution to help them, whether it's financial, marketing, accounting, whatever it is. We have numerous consultants who specialize in different areas.
Yeah, the list of services, and you gave me a brochure too. I mean, there's just bullet points all over of just all the resources and management, planning and marketing. there's also a need now with so many businesses closing for startups.
Absolutely. We're seeing, well, two things. A lot of people have been downsized, so they're out of job. So during recessions and economic downturns, a lot of people come up with ideas and things that they've had in the back of their mind for a long time, and unfortunately they've been given a nudge,
right?
The kick out the door. And so I see a lot of people who want to sit down and talk about an idea, what we call pre-venture, and see if it's feasible, see what the obstacles are, see what it's going to take to get this launched. And some people come in with already have some part of their business plan even written.
Oh,
and
so you got a leg up on it.
Right, and that's one of the things that we do a lot of. I see a lot of business plans, and my job is to, and all our consultants, is to evaluate those business plans and look at where maybe they need to be strengthened, maybe things that the client has not thought of yet.
Right.
Because we want to give that person every possibility of succeeding. Most businesses don't fail because the ideas were bad. They fail because of partially because maybe execution wasn't right. Maybe they had missed something. And one of the top 10 that the SBA has found out is a lot of businesses, the clients underestimate what it takes in finances to get started.
Right. Always gets back to the money, kind of. And speaking of money, this is at no cost.
There is no cost. This is a taxpayer-funded program. It started out, it was totally funded 100% by the SBA. And then the states got involved, and California at one point funded 50%. That has stopped because of budget constraints. And so now it makes it even tougher for these programs to survive. And we're constantly out there looking for private business to help us. Foundation, even a lot of the banks are required to put funding into community programs, and so we have to go out there and try to solicit funds that way.
Right. Well, as we were talking before the program, I taken the first steps and making an appointment because, like so many people, have some ideas, but where do you take it? Is it just a pipe dream? Is it something with feasibility? And what a great resource and service for us to be able to talk to somebody with your background, business consultant, and get valuable information and hopefully...
Well, and a lot of times when somebody comes in to see me, they've got a lot of ideas, and what we try to do is focus those down into what makes the most sense, what's practical, and also what's going to make you money.
Right. Exactly. We like that.
That's the key. Is
the bottom line is the bottom line.
Can you sell the services or products that you have envisioned that the community might want?
And for more information, we're out of time, unfortunately, but so much information at sierrasbdc.com, or call for an appointment and more information, 823-4230. Doug, thank you so much. I look forward to talking with you about my ideas, and please come back onto the program.
And thank you very much for having me, and I hope we get lots of calls.
There you go. All right, thank you so much. We are going to take our first break and bring up the Garden Goddesses, so stick with us. Hi, I'm with Eric Shikori. He is with eahoy.com, and he was a participant at the Sierra Commons Business Fair and stopped by Cafe Community to tell us about this new entrepreneurial business. Hi, Eric.
How you doing?
I'm well. This is an online business. I'm curious. Tell us all about it.
Eohoy is similar to, just imagine, a Facebook for businesses.
Okay.
Eohoy is a platform that enables small businesses, individuals, to be able to create their internet presence for free, create a e-commerce store, a mini website to showcase their products or services, as well as provide local coupons for free to be able to use, printable coupons, and post events. And we actually provide many online tools for a small business to actually create a larger marketplace, expand their market.
Wow. Now, is this up and running now?
Right now, we are actually launching this week. So it's been really a long journey. It's taken around 2 years to create Eohoy, and now we're ready. And
So you've been sticking with it.
yeah, it's been it's one journey.
Now
big journey.
everybody can come on board, right?
That's Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Eohoy.
1st of March, and you're ready. So now we are, you were part of the Small Business Fair. Would you walk away with it being a part of that?
Well, the Small Business Fair was a perfect venue for us to actually introduce the offering that Eohoy provided to small businesses. So, we set up a booth there. It went beyond expectations.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, we actually had numerous, over 20 different businesses come check us out and realize what we offered for free. And that's the biggest thing is we wanted to make a small business platform where anybody can create their internet presence with no investment or risk.
Oh, good for you, and good luck, and thank you for stopping by Cafe Community.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, welcome back to Cafe Community, and we're going to shake things up a little bit and stir and dig up some dirt. Yeah, we've got dirt right here on Cafe Community. My next guests are Garden Goddesses, a group that was formed about a year ago to share some gardening ideas and the passion for gardening and eating well. And so with me tonight, on my left is a co-founder, Susan Jovea. On her left is Laura Beavers, and on her left is Kimberly Carvel. And they're here to do some how-to tips and demos, recycle and reuse our garden. And I'm just standing around. So Susan, take it away.
Okay, thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. You've been on before, and so it was always good stuff, and you're really expanded.
Yeah, we have. Our group's expanded to a couple hundred women
Oh
and
my gosh.
1,600
In a year.
women on the Facebook site. So we have quite a discussion group.
Yeah, it's
So-
great. Well, tell us what you've, and we've got some photos that will also provide a little bit more information and show people what else you do besides your gatherings and the type of food and the hard work. So tell us what you're going to do tonight.
Well, we're here to celebrate Earth Day. And so we decided to talk about reuse and recycling in the garden and offer some tips that some of the garden goddesses are doing in their gardens. And one of the tips I have is something called propagation, and it's basically growing plants from sticks. So here's an example of a fig cutting. You cut it here and you cut it at an angle here. You dip it in root hormone, and then you stick it in a mixture of vermiculite, perlite, and what's the other one?
I don't
Peat
know,
moss. And it grows.
You're asking me?
It grows little roots. And this should be flowering pretty soon, like the rest of them.
It just looks like something you'd find in the forest.
I know.
It doesn't.
So it's a way we create free plants in our group. So we
All
exchange,
right.
like somebody gave me this grape cutting, and that's already,
Oh, what a great idea!
it was just a
to
stick.
share.
And now it's,
And what is that
producing.
little plant?
it's a grapevine.
A grapevine.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's a
Future
fun and
wine.
easy way. And then the next thing I have, a lot of us have chickens. So we like to bring hostess gifts. And, why would you
sure.
bring just like a thing of this loaded with eggs when you could arrive with something like, oops, wet paint.
Just freshly painted.
So I did this. I just painted an egg carton. And then you can either put regular eggs in or you can start little seedlings. So that's another way of reusing eggshells. And so you can just plant these directly into the ground. You kind of crack the bottom. And the calcium in the eggshell is really good for
Oh my gosh.
the soil. And,
What a great, taking it to the next step of the whole gardening, the seeds and just putting it all in. Okay, gosh, I would have never thought of that.
And then the next thing is, these are little seedling makers, or seedling, pots. And they're made out of newspaper.
Okay.
So you take this
The
little...
Union.
Of course.
Think local. You have to think local
Our
newspaper.
local paper. So you take this little, it's called a pot maker, and you just kind of roll it up like this.
I think we're getting a good shot of that, yeah.
So I think I did too long of a piece of paper, but then you just press it in.
Now, is this
And then
something
it
that can
creates-
go in the ground then too? Just
You
as
bet.
This? Oh,
yeah, this
gosh.
just disintegrates and adds to the soil as well. So
Okay.
you just fill it with soil and, plant your little seedling, and then that just goes right into the ground after a few months. So all of these I started indoors. And the next thing is, recycling just, paper cups.
Okay.
Or and then these are garden markers. So,
Okay.
if you're at a party and you don't want to
Toss
waste
it away.
Exactly. So you just use the knives, and these are way more sturdy than
Oh.
your standard garden markers that you buy in the nursery.
Okay.
So I made some here. And I think that sums up my demonstration.
Okay, we're going to
So
move
Laura's-
to, what do you have, Laura?
I actually have a milk carton, and I just wanted to point out too, there's a difference between recycling and reusing. Reusing, you actually don't cost us any more gas or traveling time or anything to reuse a product, whereas recycling you do. So
That's
if
a
you
good point.
have, your milk cartons, a lot of us up here are really concerned about frost. And when the temperature gets really low, our plants are the first thing we think of, especially when they're small. So if you have, just put in your starts and you just heard it was going to snow, you can make these little things out of... Again, yes. You can hurry out to the garden and bring your milk cartons that you've cut the bottom out of, cut out a little hole. You can place this on top of your little start, and then you bring actually your pole. I'm using this stake.
And that's a metal.
This one's metal, but you can use plastic. You can use a
okay.
bamboo stick, and you actually stick it in the hole into the dirt, and then this doesn't blow away when it gets windy.
I see.
So
it anchors it.
It anchors it. Another item you can use. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
I just wanted to ask about Laura's mic because it's not showing us. Are we hearing her okay? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
We just want to make sure.
That's
everybody can
fine.
hear.
So, and another reusable item that I just discovered is I just redid my bathroom. So I have this old shower curtain, which I would normally just stick in the closet and try to figure something out to do.
right.
So lately, though, I've been using it in the garden and just placing it over my new plants. They're only so tall, so it doesn't create a big weight. And then I have placed rocks around so it doesn't blow away.
And again, to protect it from the elements.
Yeah.
And I was wondering when I saw some of the pictures, maybe we can throw a couple up while we're talking on this issue. I was amazed at how thriving everything was already. You've had your dinners, a few dinners, and there's one hard at work with trenching for the bedding. The food, it was all lush, so now I know the secret. You have to protect
People
it.
are wonderful cooks that come to our parties, by the way.
Yes.
Very, very good.
So now I
fabulous
know
gardeners.
it's the reason why you've got all this great food already. They're starting it indoors.
Yep. And a lot of people do that as well. And you can use,
Give it a head
you can
start.
actually use your heater vents. Susan used her heater vents this last time to do her seedlings to keep them warm, because a lot of times it's the cold that just causes you so much problems in not getting them to grow.
Right.
Some ladies said put them on top of a refrigerator. So,
Oh.
yeah. So, I mean, it's stuff around the house that you can actually use. You don't have to go out and buy.
You're right. Did I cut you from your
No, that is-
piece of information
that was what I had.
that you wanted to contribute? Okay. Kimberly, on to you. Let's see what we got down
I
here.
have one more thing that you can actually reuse is these little yogurt containers. And we all have small children, and we love our children to go in the gardens with us. So what you can do is you can actually just put this right over your head, and as you're out in the garden with strawberries or beans, you can pick them and then put them in your mouth, here, wherever. And so your children can really go out and do that, and then you can send them out in the garden by themselves, and they can harvest and then have something to bring back.
What I like about that is that you could use both your hands to pick. If you hold a basket or something, it limits you.
And the
So-
children love this. They each
Great
have one. I
idea.
have 2 children, so they each love this. And then the last thing is kombucha tea. So this is actually a tea that ferments, and it uses a symbiotic relationship between mold and fungus, and it's a mushroom that makes that happen. So you simply need to take some sugar to feed the mushroom and some black tea. So I've already put some sugar in here, and then you just put the tea in. I brewed 5 bags of black tea. I use all organic ingredients. You can use whatever you would like. And then the mushroom lives in the jar.
Is it living?
It is.
I feel like a
can
Johnny
see-
Carson moment here. It's going to jump out or something.
You
I don't
can
know.
see that there's 2 mushroom in here.
What kind of mushrooms are those?
These are, it grows simply and feeds off of the sugar, and this is a baby, so this has split off
Oh my God.
of the mother. So then what you can do is you can share this little baby by putting him right in here into the new jar, and then you would fill this all the way up, and you can see that I have a little thermometer right here on the top. I place it on top of a heating pad, and then I put a little a grocery bag on top of it, simply cover it, and then after a week you have a fermented beverage that is very, very good for you health-wise, and you simply need to maintain and clean everything and then do your research and see what works for you so that you can, instead of going to the grocery store and using a bottle every time and $5 to buy a small little bottle, you can make your own. And I brew 3 gallons a week, and I can't get enough of it.
So you start a new batch from the old batch to
Yes.
keep it, I guess, propagating that way? Or
And then as soon as the mushroom starts to turn a brown color, then you know that it's brewed too many times. You want it to be white and healthy. As you can see, both of these are white, and this one just split off.
now, where do you get the mushroom to start with?
I actually fermented my own. I just simply took a little jar of tea with sugar in it, and I set it out.
So the mushroom is not a plant that you go to the store. It's
It's a fungus.
It's a fungus that you have created.
I created. You
Through
can
the
buy them at the
process.
store. You can get them from your friends. With love, sharing is the best way to get them. And it's a remarkable tea. I feel that I have much more energy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The 3 o'clock slump is gone.
There's a new kick.
Yeah.
Forget Starbucks. So it's I guess like a sourdough in that same concept where you take a starter or a portion of it. Even with yogurt, the same way with the live cultures.
Yes.
That starts. Is that the same kind
Yes,
of process? for that?
it feeds off of the sugar and the caffeine. It eats them away. So when you drink the beverage, the caffeine and the sugar have been eaten by the
I
fungus,
see.
and so you're not getting that.
Okay. And what can you do with the mushroom when you said it got dark?
So when the mushroom
it's
gets old, you can simply
done?
put it into your compost.
Okay.
And then you can use that to feed your earth and take care of the earth that way.
Okay. That's reusing and giving back to the earth,
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soil is the most important thing that you can make.
Right. And good soil. And now, talking about reusing and recycling, then what about on our program last week, the Sierra Seed Co-op that started to share local seeds and keep them in our local community so that it has the microclimate, it's adapted to our weather.
Nice.
Have you done that with some of your own seedlings and crops? And
Oh,
are
yeah.
these
We're
from
starting to create a seed bank.
Okay.
So there's so many women in our group with great heirloom seeds,
Yes.
and we're starting to save them and exchange them. And
And the process, I guess, of saving them is kind of an art form too.
It
or
is.
Cleaning or whatever. As I mentioned before the show, I'm better just going to the farmer's market and picking this stuff. I wouldn't know where to start.
But once you do get started, it's very addicting.
There you go.
And all you have to do is come to one party and
You're in.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to try that. That's all it is, too, is just a bunch of trying.
You're bringing in speakers to your dinners to offer more education, expand the knowledge, and share information. And you had the permaculture last week, I think.
we did. It was
It was
fabulous
exquisite. I
very
couldn't
good
believe all the
presentation, yeah.
information.
I know, a little about permaculture, but she was just amazing. I
That
guess
was Cathay
fish.
Yeah.
So we learned all about food forests and
The layers of the forest, actually, and how, we've actually depleted a lot of that. And she had on a video where this family was, 100 generations or
300.
300 generations,
Interesting.
and their garden was going that long.
Oh my
in
gosh.
And
flourishing
Yeah,
Vietnam.
and they just
Oh my
keep
gosh.
eating off their own land.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But
Just
it
a
wasn't
beautiful
like
thing.
tomatoes and cucumbers. It was all the medicinal herbs on the bottom. And then it actually created a several layer
Right.
garden. I think it was 7 layers, starting with the canopy, then going down to the lower stories, and then lower stories, and then down to the ground cover with fruit trees and every conceivable food that they could think of,
Yeah.
they had there.
And people from the village were actually asking these people, well, how can we get involved and have your seeds, I believe, or something to bring to their own? Because outside their little garden, I guess, they hadn't had this in a long time. So they were very impressed.
And I'm learning you can do so much in a small area.
Yeah.
Like that's with the layering.
Yes.
Maximize space and take full advantage of the space that you have, even indoors. So,
And
I have
another
no
step
excuse.
further that we've thought of is actually sharing our abilities. So if one person grows a heap of kale, then someone else might have more sun, so then they may grow a bunch of tomatoes, so then we actually have figured out a way to share our produce. So we have a prosperity table, so we bring the produce that we have and we have it there just to take and share.
right. I love that, the sharing, the taking care of one another, and we've got lots of resources to help out. So we got a little bit more time. We got 1 more minute. Okay, last couple little tidbits. Susan? Look at this.
some quick gardening tips. Can you think of
All
springtime
going into the
gardening
ground. Look at this newspaper. The union. If you don't like an article, use it as a seedling. Goes right into the ground. Tea, mushroom growing for good bacteria. The kombucha. Kombucha.
I think if we had one tip, it would be to get your family involved, get your children involved, because this is a dying art form, and
Right.
a lot of the people of today are globalization and use, and this is a way to really get back to grassroots
Right.
so that we can live our land and have
enjoy
it be productive and have people value food,
And for the next
real
generation.
food. It's not,
All right.
not something that's processed.
Thank you, Garden Goddesses, Kimberly Carvel and Laura Beavers and Susan Jovea. Good stuff. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Thank
Today, walk me down to the water, wash me down. Okay, and I'm gone. Yeah. And I'm gone. Yes, I'm gone.
Nevada County's In-Home Supportive Services program